Sheriff Joe Arpaio of Maricopa County, Arizona is back in the news, and as always, it has to do with an abuse of power, in my view, and almost as always, it has to do with guns. And so Joe has a new policy that he wants that has to do with how he's going to arm his forces, his troops, his police officers in that area. And look, the long and short of it is he wants to arm them all the time, basically, under all circumstances, and not just with any weapons, but with AR-15s. We're talking serious firepower. And so this is what Sheriff Joe says. I want all my deputies to be armed with the greatest firepower available 24 hours a day. Well, sorry, Joe, but an AR-15 is not the greatest firepower available. Perhaps they should have bazookas. Perhaps we should get them in mech warriors or something like that, or mount them on the backs of T-Rexes with shock lances. Then they would have a bit more firepower and they could really kill those Hispanic immigrants. But I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. Joe goes on to defend what he did by saying, or this new policy by saying, while this decision may seem controversial to some in the public and among other law enforcement agencies, I have extreme confidence in the training and professionalism of the men and women deputies in the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office. Now look, in this area of Arizona, there have been some police that have been killed recently while they were off duty, and so I understand that Joe wants them to be able to defend themselves. But they have that ability to have their pistol on them anyway. The fact that they need to have AR-15s at all times, I think that has very little to do with defending them and more to do with intimidating the community. Sheriff Joe is a big fan of scaring people. Now usually that indicates someone who's pretty small and scared on the inside, but whatever, if you want to hide that and gild it with an AR-15, you're free to try to do that. But I think that this is ill-advised. He can talk all he wants about how well-trained they are, and I'm sure that they do receive training. And yet we see constantly that responsible, well-trained gun owners do incredibly irresponsible things. People get shot all the time by people who have been trained to operate their firearms. Cops will leave open their trunk with their AR-15 there, or they'll leave it in the back of their car as they go in to get food. These news stories come out every single day of the week, and you can expect that in the near future, Maricopa County is going to have even more of them happen right there because of this policy by Sheriff Joe. So I understand that he wants it to be a little bit safer in Maricopa County, but it looks like it just got a little bit more dangerous.